your peers, and everybody wants to have a one-on-one, but like there are a lot of you guys, and each of you guys' time is important to me. And so I always try to, I appreciate you being, patient with me, because you know how life gets just ridiculous and crazy. So this first one, the standard one, and how I would want for you to do this is to go read through this, but try to, in each of the, like every time there's a break in the text, try to rephrase that in your own words. Each of these, it's called chunking the text. It's a strategy we use with English language arts and reading.
Yes.
But it's you reflecting back on, like, do I really understand it? And if you do, you'll be able to say it sort of in a different way for yourself. And that does something inside of your brain that creates a neurological pathway. So go through each of these and familiarize yourself with the things that are here. Now, if you're unfamiliar with anything, always look it up. There's never any shame in not knowing something. There's only shame in knowing that you don't know and pretending that you do and moving on. Because especially with regard to the TEKS, and we'll look at the TEKS in a little bit, because if they have to know it and be able to do it, you have to know it and also be able to do the thing that it's asking the students to do, because we're going to be the ones modeling and creating lessons to get them to be able to have this new skill. So at the very least, we need to be able to know and do the things that are there. So for standard one, it is how the theater teacher knows how to plan and implement effective theater instruction. And let me highlight these things, like the main keys. So standard one is all about instruction and assessment. This is pedagogy. That's all pedagogy, instruction and assessment. That's all that pedagogy is. The pedagogy exam is about instruction and assessment and some other things like our professional responsibilities, ethics, and whatnot. But predominantly, the bulk of it is pedagogy. And pedagogy is the science of teaching. And it is a literal science. It might be the most difficult science on the planet because it deals with human beings and variables that are not even constant every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can have a student who's really, really good, they cope well, and one day they have a terrible morning and they're dealing with something. Don't even worry about it.
Zoe.
I have a Zoe too. Oh my goodness. My soon to be 18-year-old, she's 17. She'll be 18 in February. She's really sad that she's going to miss the election because I need all the votes for Bethel that I can have. That's why I had 5 kids. So I have already 1 voter on the books. Now it's going to be so anyway, the standard one is basically about pedagogy, the science of teaching, how we instruct, why we choose particular things for particular people in order to elicit their learning, and then our constant assessment. And that doesn't mean giving a quiz or an essay, but assessments could even be observations, right? Observations, conversations, walking around and listening to group conversations is a formative assessment. It's informal, but it's still formative, and it helps form our instruction or drive it. Because if you identify as you're walking about the room weakness, then you can either reteach right there or think like, man, tomorrow I need to include, like, in the beginning, let's review these particular skills because you already assessed. So it is consistent assessment in order to drive effective instruction. And which means you also providing students with learning experience that enhance their knowledge, skills, and appreciation of theater. So I bet you that that's part of the overarching goal when we look at the TEKS. The part of the overarching goal for students is to gain knowledge, skills, and an appreciation in theater. I bet you that as a content, that's probably going to be one of the first paragraphs that we see. And I haven't looked at it just yet, but it is, and especially in the beginning, EC through 6, obviously we're not going to require the students to do like Shakespeare. And the high school levels, they will have to or endeavor to learn such things, right? But not at this level. At this level, we are enhancing knowledge, skills, and beginning to build an appreciation of theater, like the same as PE. PE, oh, the girls are here. I'll open my office door, and that way they can run in so you can take a look. They're so cute.
Here's Zoe. You can have a phone. No. You don't want the phone? Because I'm talking to my teacher, remember? So we have to be quiet. I'm talking to my teacher. Here. And she's recording, but it's shh.
Nice. Like, this is the first grader.
Hi.
Oh,
Oh,
she's no, Marco, no. Hi, how are you? And this is the second grader.
Hi, nice to meet you. Look, so
Hello. Her daughter was just on the video, so.
hi. Right there. Okay. And she's recording. She's really nice.
Yeah, I'll bring them tomorrow. Yeah. Hi. Her backpack.
I'm in the middle of game before night.
Yes. Okay. Oh.
You're a mom girl or girl mom.
Yes, I love it. And I have two boys also.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Get over there, sir. So in PE, it's not about getting them to be superstar basketball, football players. It is about building their knowledge of balance, of skills, and an appreciation and knowledge of an active and healthy life. So as we build sort of in depth and in rigor and in skill as we continue on. So understanding some of the overarching ideas, and you'll see that it correlates. You'll see like standard 2 is about you understanding and applying skills for creating, utilizing, and performing dramatic material, because they're probably one of their overarching TEKS standards or strands is going to be creating, utilizing, and performing dramatic material. I bet you that's one of them. I haven't looked at them yet, but we'll take a look. The theater teacher understands and applies skills for producing and directing theatrical productions. So this might not, I don't think that they have to particularly do that, but they are going to have to, what is the word? Actually experience or act out. And they might even have to, maybe not at this level, maybe at the theater, like at the junior high, they could like maybe produce something. I know that at my high school, that was one of the things, like we had this competition 6 weeks for my theater in high school, because I did one act and all that stuff. And we helped with, like, there was a director and we all had different tasks, but people submitted their scripts and it was chosen and we actually performed it for the school. So it was really cool. And everybody, like, we all had to do the project, but only one really was chosen. Let's see, design and technical theater, knowledge of theater from different cultures and historical periods. I guarantee you that's going to be one of the sections. It's going to be about understanding cultures, theater in different cultures, and the way that theater has changed throughout history. The last one is I'm sorry. All right, he's stuck in here. He doesn't want to be stuck in here with me. He wants to be in the house where the action is. Okay, so the last one is that the theater teacher understands and applies skills for responding to responding, analyzing, and evaluating theater, and understands the interrelationship between theater and other disciplines. For instance, theater and English language arts, right? Theater and history, like if something's going to be historically accurate or be fabled or modeled after something, then you have to have some. So how in fact does it overlap? Math, with even the props and the building of the set, and how you have to know math to build things and to do all of these different things, all of the different disciplines that go into, even what is it, photography and lots of different stuff. So, but this is at an elementary level. Always keeping that in mind. Who is your target audience for instruction and assessment? So this one's about instruction and assessment. And let's take a look at the TEKS. Look at the fine arts, elementary, and you'll see theater and kindergarten. So let's take a look at and do a close reading. And these are the types of close readings that I want for you to be doing when you do each of them. And I want for you to ask yourself with each one. And I would, if I were you, make like a card that says like for kindergarten theater, and like the overarching goal and the main things, especially things if you're unfamiliar with it. If you're familiar with it, you don't have to write it down, you already know it. But if you don't already know it and it's something you just learned, jot it down. It does something to physically write things down and make it your own in your brain so that you can retrieve it later. It creates that neurological pathway. So let's read what the purpose is. The fine arts incorporate the study of dance, music, theater, and visual arts to offer unique experiences, empower students to explore realities, relationships, and ideas. These disciplines engage and motivate all students through active learning, critical thinking. So the best dancers are going to be with them active learning, with critical thinking, with innovative problem solving. The fine arts develop cognitive functioning and increase students' academic achievement, higher order thinking, communication, collaborative skills, making the fine arts applicable to college readiness, career opportunities, workplace environment, social skills, and everyday life. So it's a good place to develop all of those skills. And we should see it as an opportunity to develop all of those skills. That is the goal of theater arts and theater arts instruction. Students develop aesthetic and cultural awareness through exploration. So you're supposed to do activities that explore, leading to creative expression, so that they would doing exploratory things, so that it would lead to creative expression. Like maybe it's not just an assignment, but they like painting so much they start doing it on their own, or other things, writing monologues, I'm not sure. Creativity encouraged through the study of fine arts is essential to the development, essential to nurture and develop the whole child. And it's true, societies that they need play and they need a creative, expressive outlet. And even if it's difficult for them, for whatever reason, they don't like to delve into that and to practice. Like they don't have to be Picassos to get the benefit and the relaxation of painting something and having instruction or whatever the skill is. So there's 4 basic strands. Remember, I told you that we're going to be strands, and I made some predictions. So let's see how well my predictions turned out. So we're going to do foundations here, 4 basic strands. Foundations, which is inquiry and understanding, asking questions and understanding, creative expression, historical and cultural relevance, and critical evaluation and response. So like how we would sort of consume a piece or theater, and what makes it good and what makes it bad. And I mean, like we're watching a play and we can't hear anyone as we sit here, then that's kind of a problem. So there's many things that go into a critical evaluation, but to have the kids be able to do some of those things under these 4 basic categories. So each of your TEKS are going to be, are going to have basic strands that are going to remain pretty constant. Sometimes they change in like early child because they get more complex, right? So while there might not be as many strands in EC, like there might be more, but all of the strands remain there throughout, constant throughout. We're always building in these. So like when they're taking high school, I guarantee you they're still going to be building in inquiry and understanding, creative expression, historical and cultural relevance, and critical evaluation. There might be extra ones here, like there might be a technique one, there might be extra stuff. I don't know, because I haven't done a deep dive for that one just yet. But that might be the case. So let's read the rest of it. Provide broad unifying structures for organizing knowledge and skills students are expected to acquire. So through the foundations, inquiry and understanding strand, students develop a perception of self, human relationships, and the world using elements of drama and conventions of theater. So we're teaching them conventions of theater. We're teaching them elements of drama via whatever we can. Play video clips, having them act things out and then discuss it, whatever the function may be. Through the creative expression strand, students communicate in a dramatic form, engage in artistic thinking, build positive concepts, relate interpersonally amongst their peers, and integrate knowledge with other content areas in a relevant manner. This is part of the creative expression. Through the historical and cultural relevant strands, students increase their understanding of heritage and traditions in theater and the diversity of the world cultures as expressed in their theater. Theater, all art is a creative expression. Even the stuff the art pieces of art that we read, for instance, let's say in social studies, the poetry of slavery. It's heartbreaking and dark. It wasn't made for that genre after the fact. It was the feeling of a people that made it that made it so. Art is always a reflection of society, of struggle, of people. There has been poetry posted by just random Ukrainians. And it was more so during the bigger siege where Russia was had a whole bunch of strength in the beginning and they had a lot of people and there was stuff coming out when they still had power, poetry of the people in those besieged cities. And it felt like Holocaust poetry, but it was real time. And it was people's expression of actual pain. So them understanding that and making that connection all throughout. Now, are we going to talk about stuff like that in EC through 6? Probably not. We're going to do it but we will later on once they are cognitively able to understand, social, emotionally, physically, which is why we teach different things at different areas and why better activities work at different areas. So the last one is critical evaluation and response strand. This goes, through the critical evaluation response strand, students engage in inquiry and dialogue, accepting constructive criticism. So this isn't even criticizing other people. We have to learn even how to accept constructive criticism. It's something we have to learn. People don't like to be criticized, but there are particular ways to do particular skills, and you have to be able to accept the criticism of an expert. On the set of a movie, an actor might be able to throw a fit, but if the director wants for you to do something, and you have to suck it up, Buttercup, and try to see their vision on through it. It is part of the deal. So getting them to understand that, revise personal views to promote creative and critical thinking, a lot of personality building. part of it. It's the same with PE, but it lends itself a lot to social emotional learning and building of self and building of your awareness of others, not to be so flippant with your criticisms, because it's kind of hurtful. Like if you have an honest, real criticism to say, like, oh, I didn't like it. Well, how about we don't say I don't like it? And what can we say? Like, how could we say like maybe something would be better? Like we couldn't hear it very well. So maybe project your voice a little bit louder, or like your face and the story didn't match up. So giving specific criticisms, but beginning to get them to even consider the idea that criticism sometimes is helpful and sometimes it's not helpful and just mean. So you have creative expression. So first you have the foundations, inquiry and understanding. And in this one, the student is they're expected to do these things: develop concepts of self, human relationships, the environment using elements of drama, conventions of theater. So like spatial thing, knowing upstage, downstage, understanding spacing as far as like if you're in a play, not to be so far away from the person you're in a little personal conversation with, and not to be so much that it doesn't look natural. You would never invade someone's personal space this way. Like, so develop self-awareness through dramatic play. This is one of the skills that they have to learn, and you have to be able to assess them. And this is one of those areas where it's difficult to assess that with an exam. You can't do that. You're going to have to see, are they self-aware in a play? Are they all up in somebody's personal space? Or do they have a normal, natural distance because they're self-aware? I am dramatically acting out a conversation, and then there's an appropriate, they might not all be, when you get them as kindergartners, self-aware. It's the same thing in PE. And kindergarten, when they're in PE and you have them all spread out and you tell them do jumping jacks, if they haven't learned spatial awareness, they're going to be like going off, and you're going to have all sorts of people hitting in the face, because one of the first TEKS is understanding self and like self-awareness. And it's important because cognitively, Piaget already figured it out for us that kids are a little, not that they're narcissists, but they are like little narcissists. Like they're barely learning the world, and all they have to go on is like what I think, feel, and see around me. That's it. That's what I'm going on. Like that's all I'm doing. Touch, feel, sound, smell. That's what I'm going with. And so they don't have a whole bunch of like other people experience or even thinking about other people. They haven't made those neurological pathways yet to have an experience of like, oh, I went over and I hit someone because I wasn't paying attention and I missed my spacing. And when I was doing my jumping jacks, they don't have that yet. Little kids, that younger kids might say, like siblings, a younger one. My daughter used to tell me she would get annoyed because my younger girls, like my oldest girl is 17 and my youngest girl is 6. She's going to be 7 in December. So when they were like 2 or 3, they'd be like, my mom says, I don't know what, that I can have cookies. And so it would say, yeah, she's my mom too. But they weren't saying it to be mean, but just for them, just in their mind, they're not even thinking about you and what you have in who your mom is. Like, they're like, my mom. And that's what I'm talking about. It's very like egocentric. So getting them to develop that self-awareness, important in all aspects. But for the purposes of this, you wouldn't be able to give a quiz to do this. You just have to see them as they do little dramatic plays during your activities, if they had that awareness of self and other and the task at hand, which would be the play. So explore space using expressive movement, like how if you want to seem happy, you can be like, oh my gosh, and that would show everyone yours because you opened it up so big. But you would have to show them that but you want them to explore it themselves, where they would create maybe something and explore it. So what I want for you to do, because as they go a little bit as they get a little bit more in depth, as they get older, you'll have possibly some things that you're unfamiliar with, and that's totally fine. Nobody is an expert in all of the TEKS, you know, they just aren't. So if you have to Google something or write it down to ask me later, and I am available every Tuesday and Thursday using this link that you have via Zoom. So whenever you want to pop in to ask questions, Tuesday and Thursday, 9 to 11, I'm available on here. Like I'm on here and different people come in. Like sometimes I have 3 people, sometimes I only have 1 person, sometimes nobody comes in. It just is a hit or miss type thing, but that's every Tuesday and Thursday. So as you're doing your deep dives in the TEKS for each of these areas and looking at the standards with them, whatever you can, or if you have any questions, please write them down and don't hesitate to come in, you know, either at any time during that time.
Okay. Yes. I actually do have some questions.
Absolutely. Please hit me with them.
Okay. So I've been watching your videos and it's been so helpful. Like I told you earlier, I took my test 10 years ago and it never occurred to me, or no one ever even told me, like, go through the standards, go through the TEKS. And now that you've said that, it just makes sense, you know? Right. So now, like, I tell my teacher friends, like, guys, go through the standards, go through the TEKS. Like, it really is an eye opener, you know? So that's what
absolutely.
But my question now is, so I think it was you that sent me my dashboard information and all of that.
Okay.
And
yes.
I saw a video that said something about 60, that I only have 60 days to complete the coursework.
Okay, yeah. So yes, but I can help you with the coursework because I know your work, that you're doing the hard work and that we're going to be working together. So the what is most important in order to be able to like be okay to get a job is those the FBE hours, your observation hours. Okay. As long as you have those turned in, I can help you with the dates on the coursework, but as long as you have those hours turned in. And I believe there's 15 online and there's 15 in person that you have to do, but as long as those are turned in, like I can help with time period extending or giving you credit, like for particular things. Like you're not going to have to take the PPR courses because you passed already. So once you're done, you're done. Like once you pass this exam, you will be done with coursework because I'm going to give you credit by exam. If you already have that exam passed, it would be silly to make you take that coursework. But just don't tell Miss Cardenas. She watches this anyway, but it's credit by exam. It's fine. But yeah.
So I was like, what do I focus on first? Passing my content exam or
doing your content? Stuff? Pass your content and get the because I can say she's good with the intro classes, but I can't extend that time period for the observation. So just make sure you get those done.
Okay, no, for sure. And like I said, I'm a substitute teacher here in Lyford, so okay, that it's not going to be a problem. I can get those hours in.
Okay.
So, awesome. Okay, yes, I was stressing so much about that. I was like,
don't please
focus on first, but no, that I'm on the right path. I've been doing what you said, to go like a how did you say it? Go through like the
fine-tooth comb.
Fine-tooth comb. There we go. So that's what I've been doing. I have
like you're searching for piojos. That's how you're doing it. You know?
Oh my gosh. And so yes, you should see my notes.
Trust me, I have searched for piojos. Like it is like a fine-tooth comb. So, but you have to go through and see anything that you don't feel, even if you know what it is, but you're like, I learned that. But if you can't say it to someone and say like, this is what they mean by this, then you don't really know, and not enough to be able to squeeze by through the exam. So you want to know it enough to be able to talk. You see what I'm talking about? Look at this little one here. This is my 5th one. This is my chickie.
Oh, the baby.
My chiquita. Right, Mama?
Her hair.
What is it?
The orphan is actually
playing over there. They're watching the orphan. I know.
So loud.
Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Apparently I'm disturbing them, not the other way around.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll be quick.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay, perfect. I'm just going through my notes to see if there was anything else that so there's not going to be like no projects or like grading done through the dashboard. I mean, I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything.
Yeah, well, there are things there, and like I said, you're supposed to be working on them, but I don't want you to stress out. Begin working on them. You're not on a campus yet, so you'll have a whole year if need be, but you won't need that. As soon as you pass the exam, we'll get you on a campus, and I can get you give you completion for those that the coursework based on the work that you're doing right now. That the idea is that the state dictates that you are investing time in learning your craft. And you're just not doing it on the platform right now, but you are going through the TEKS and the standards and correlating those and understanding those concepts. And so once you pass that, I can give you the credit.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Okay. Sounds good. I'm on the right path then.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Okay. Good. And don't forget that you can come 9 to 11 every Tuesday and Thursday. And I put you down to add you to that the PPR session, but we also talk about a lot of other things. Like if you go and watch the video right now, I think I added it to the playlist today, but it gives a lot of really helpful information. She has a master's in special education and has worked for I think 11 or 12 years in that particular field, but also longer than that in the education. So have a look at that. I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay. Yes, for sure. It doesn't hurt to refresh.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like 17 minutes long. It's not so long.
Mm-hmm. And I know that I do have my goal. I know we have like a year to finish, but I honestly want to get certified by April.
Yeah.
Or earlier, so I mean, I'm pushing, I'm working every day. Don't think I'm not, I'm always looking at a video or going through the TEKS.
Well, you have a year from when you have to do the year internship, at the school, you have to be there. So, but the best way is to be done with all the coursework and the tests. And all you have to do is teach that first year. That should be the way you do it. So, and that's the way I'm thinking that you'll be able to go in and just teach that first year.
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for your time on a Friday. I know you're doing this away from your babies, which means that you're putting in all of the effort. So when you go in there on that day to take the exam, I want you to be confident about yourself and confident in the amount of time that you spent, preparing for this.
Yes. One last question before I go.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. So certifiedteacher.com, is that available to us or do we have to purchase that separate?
I'm not sure anymore. You have to talk with, I think it's Rebecca. Or Miss Garza. I'm not sure who it is that gives access to that, or if you guys have to, have to pay for it. Okay.
Alrighty. I'll go ahead and do that. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. You have a beautiful rest of your weekend. Enjoy your babies.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.